Hey everybody, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. Not a car vlog today. The car is actually over there, that red Pontiac. But it's daytime, so I don't need to do this in the car. I'm doing this outside. Right now it is a Sunday. Not much going on in Austin today, so I'm not going to be down there. I'm going to be recovering from my many sleepless nights of going to South by Southwest by eating some healthy food and sleeping, catching up on my sleep. But still, I want to sort of catch you guys up on what happened to me for the past 2 days in Austin, Texas. Who I saw. When I get back home, I will be coming out with a not a video that's too long, just a video kind of simply explaining what bands I saw. I shot a lot of footage, you know, quick clips of all the acts that I saw, except on my first day. I didn't get a chance to bring my camera out. And on my second day, a lot of the concerts were at night, a lot of bad lighting. So, I mean, I didn't catch video of bands like Agalloch or something like that, though I did see them and they were pretty decent. But still, I just want to talk about who I've been seeing over the past... I just brushed my teeth. So maybe there's like toothpaste on my face. But anyway, I just want to talk about who I saw for the past few days. Friday, I started off my day. I did see Gentleman Jesse and His Men, like I planned on, but then a friend of mine, and this is sort of the funny randomness of South by Southwest, a friend of mine came up to me and said, oh hey, do you want to go see Glasser? And I've seen Glasser once before. I really wanted to hang out with my friend Maria. Glasser was good live. They played over at the Club de Ville, but there was kind of a malfunction during the set. The sun was beating down on their laptop, and the set was ended 2 songs too short. But I did get to see Glasser, and also on the bill was Kurt Vile and Deer Hunter, and I was already down in front. I had a chance to go see like Grass Widow or La Sera or like, let's see, The Pains of Being Pure at Heart, but, you know, I've seen all of them live before. No, I mean, I've seen The Pains of Being Pure at Heart live before. I haven't seen the other 2 live before. I could have seen Jay Mascis, but I stayed there so I could stand in front for Kurt Vile, so that I could be in the front for Deer Hunter, too. Never seen Deer Hunter live before, so I got to see him right up front. I could have, like, reached out and shook like, Lockett Punt's hand. Bradford Cox was really close to me as well. So I saw them. It was fantastic. After that, I stayed for Deer Hunter. I didn't get a chance to see Odd Future that day because when I got to the venue where they were playing, there was like a line around the block. So I figured, well, do I want to go see Odd Future or do I want to be in the front for Deer Hunter? I chose Deer Hunter. But I did get to see a chance to see Times New Viking after that. They were really great over at the Parish. I saw Liturgy play at Emos Jr. They were kind of like looking like they were having a lot of sound problems, that, you know, the mixes and the monitors weren't good for them, and maybe they were having a difficult time because of that, but still, their drummer's really intense, they were loud, it sounded like black metal infused with math rock. It was pretty awesome, if you're into, you know, something very technical. And after that, I ran over to, let's see, the Luster Pearl early, because I wanted to see the Black Lips, and because I came early, I actually got to see Gangs play live, and they were really great live. Though I'm not a huge fan of the record that they put out, they were fantastic in person. Recommend that for anybody who's into soft rock and pop. It was funny because the venue over there, the Luster Pearl, was finishing off with Little Dragon, and so because Gangs was there, because Little Dragon was there, there was definitely a lot of pop fans there who didn't quite get the Black Lips when they came on stage and didn't quite expect everybody to start moshing once the Black Lips started playing. I was also in that mosh pit, and that was pretty insane. Everybody was bouncing around off of each other, and I actually saw Darwin Dees in the crowd, and I said, "Hey Darwin, what's up?" And he's a cool guy. But also Little Dragon played after the Black Lips, and she was great. Little Dragon, well, not even she, the whole band was great. Their drummer's a monster, and you know, the synthesizers were great, the bass lines were great. They played a new track or 2, and you know, just a really great performance all around. It was really felt like I was lucky to see that. And then the next day, in the afternoon, I saw, who was the first band I saw? I can't remember. Damn. It's on my camera, though. It's on this camera. But I know in the afternoon I got to see a Place to Bury Strangers. So I saw Woodsman in the afternoon. I was planning on seeing Woodsman like at 5 o'clock. But the thing was, I didn't get a chance to. Because I was walking by a venue, and they just happened to have like this Colorado music showcase during the day, and Woodsman was playing at 1 o'clock. So I figured, why not see them earlier rather than later? So I saw Woodsman. Then I went over to, like I said, I was walking down the street. I didn't see you know what happened? I was walking down the street, I was walking by a couple venues, Barbarella being one of them, and met up with these two guys who were fans of the Needle Drop. I was just kind of bumming around because I had until 4 o'clock to do something. I found Chick 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 was playing over at Barbarella. You know, I liked some of their songs, so I went down to go see Chick Chick Chick. And they were a fantastic live, really dancey, really fun. They played a Prince cover, and it was great. So once I left that, I went over to a party that was co-sponsored by Sammy over at the Rocket Out blog. Let me see my time. Got a lot of time. Co-sponsored by Sammy over at the Rocket Out blog. Place to Bury Strangers was playing, and they were great. They were throwing their guitars around. The pedals, the amplifiers, the speaker boxes all looked custom made. They were loud as hell. All rumors of that band being loud are confirmed. Extremely loud. Just fantastic. They had a lot of energy. It was punk fucking rock to the max. After that, I kind of had plans to see a lot of stuff that I wanted to. Kind of got foiled because I wanted to see Magruder Grind over at Emo's Jr. But I literally left the Place to Bury Strangers show. I walked a block toward the highway, and I heard Off playing. I just heard them. I didn't know they were playing. I just heard it. I just heard Off playing somewhere in the distance. So I just followed the sound and happened upon Off playing a showcase sponsored by Fun Fest at the Eastside Drive-In. There was a line around the block to get into this fest. There was a spare moment where I happened to be walking by and nobody was watching the exit, so I ran inside. I didn't get any footage of Off playing at the Fun Fest because I was in the mosh pit, but you know, that's kind of my addiction. You know, just respect me for that. And then once Off played, Surfer Blood was playing after them. I decided to leave because I'd already seen them live, and I wanted to go back to get ready for my Magruder Grind show. But then I met up with a friend of a friend named Ahmad, and there's video of him on this camera that I will be putting into sort of my big South by Southwest clip video when I put it up this coming week. So you know, he said, oh, hey, we're going back to the Eastside Drive-In. And I said, yeah, but Surfer Blood's playing. I've already seen them. And he says, oh, well, you know, also the Dead Milkmen are playing. And I said, what? I want to see the Dead Milkmen. And so we went there, and it also happens that Chick 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 was playing there too. So I saw Chick 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 twice in one day, and got to talk with the lead singer backstage just a little bit, because it just so happens that Ahmad is one of the biggest social butterflies I've ever met. So when we went to the Fun Fest stage, he got us like backstage VIP free drinks, like everything, you know, food back there, like free earpieces. You get to stand on the side of the stage and watch the bands. It was pretty crazy how many people he knew back there. I also met Twin Shadow 2 back there through him, and you know, a bunch of other people who I guess he's sort of acquaintances with, and people who remember him. He's a very nice guy. Yeah, so he got me backstage for that. I watched Dead Milkmen, and apparently after Dead Milkmen, Odd Future was playing, and I figured, oh, well, here's Odd Future. I didn't get to see him yesterday. Let's see him today. But for some reason, they weren't letting anybody on the side of the stage while Odd Future was playing, except for, like, some, you know, very, very, you know, highly regarded photographers and, like, you know, their press person and, like, some indie celebs, like a member of Vivian Girls I saw back there. But they weren't letting anybody on the side stage, so I didn't stay because I couldn't even shoot video footage of them, you know, and I couldn't even hear them all that well either. So I went down to another venue just up the road to go see Dominique Young Unique play. Great MC, fantastic MC. And then after that, let's see. I saw Odd Future was playing again over at the Billboard Bungalow, Buffalo Billiards. I met up with 2 guys who came to the video panel that I did, 2 Australian fellows who are very nice guys. I sort of left them in the venue to go get closer to the stage. I saw Big Crit play, and I'm not a huge fan of that guy on record, but they were great live. Not only was it him playing, but his live DJ, he had a hype man with him who he said was his brother, and then, like, sort of miraculously, 3 songs into the set, a full band comes out. Drummer, bass player, 2 keyboard players, guitar player, and a backup singer. And then they play a bunch more others, then they play a ton of other songs. And it was really great once that happened. Really fleshed the music out, and it didn't take away from his prowess as an MC. Had a lot of energy, a lot of personality, got a lot of respect for the guy. Then Odd Future played. I got time. Then Odd Future played, and you know, it's sort of to make a long story short, I know people aren't going to want to hear this, but, like, it sucked.
Oh, there you go.
I'm ranting at my camera.
Oh.
Joe's a fucking Viking.
Well, it's dinner time, whatever you want.
Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes.
Okay.
Close the door.
Okay.
Close the door. It's a private moment. It's a private moment. Close it. So anyway, Odd Future played, and it sucked. They came out on stage, not even before they came out on stage, everybody was yelling, swag, 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 swag. And then, like, you could hear Tyler on the microphone saying, shut the fuck up, shut up. And, you know, and it sort of seemed like everybody there, the meaner Tyler was, the more everybody egged him on. And just said, yeah, 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 this rules Wolfgang, Wolfgang. Everybody was just chanting Wolfgang, chanting swag, and once they finally came out, they had their DJ come on stage, but I use the term DJ loosely because she was pretty much just pressing play on a MacBook and then the beat would play, and it's like, you know, the really crappy Fruity Loop style Odd Future beats that, you know, are really bad quality and just, like, not produced very well at all. And once they came out, they were jumping around, swearing, a lot of cartoon violence in the lyrics, like, you know, getting your dick sawed off with a chainsaw, like, you know, the kind of stuff that, like, I don't know, ICP would rap about, but everybody thinks it's cool that Odd Future does it because, you know, they're new, they're fresh. But, like, you know, the thing is, like, they're decent MCs, and they got good flows, and they got personality. But the thing is, like, in between each song, and even, like, during some of the other songs, Tyler was being a complete dick to everybody. He, after the first track, or the second track, rather, he said, like, Mic 2 sucks. Fuck the sound guy, fix that shit. He, like, threw the mic at the sound guy, and, you know, once he told off the sound guy, everybody cheered him on, and then I was down in front, and we were all, like, jumping around, and, like, people were moshing, or not even moshing, but kind of jumping into each other, not like moshing like a punk pit, like kind of just shoving into each other really hard. He told everybody in the back of the venue to fuck off, and that he wishes they weren't there, and he wishes they would go away, and he doesn't want them here. I don't know why. I looked in the back, and there's kind of like a lounge area where people were hanging out, and I think he was telling them off because they weren't up front, or maybe they weren't energetic, or maybe they just weren't jumping around to his liking. I have no clue. But he was telling off the people in the back. He was telling everybody in the front that they were cool, and that they were swag. And so they played 1 song, 2 songs, and then I think, like, I can't remember off the top of my head, did they even finish the 3rd song? Because the thing is, a third track into the set, Tyler just goes like, fuck this, and then he just goes off stage. And everybody else in Odd Future, especially their DJ, seems kind of confused by this, because he just up and left. And then sort of, you know, slowly every member of the band sort of petered out and went off stage, and then they just kind of ended their performance with only 3 songs. And he was being a total dick to everybody, you know, was telling everybody in the front they're cool, but yet, you know, he's like, you know, he doesn't have the balls to finish this performance if he's having a little bit of a tough time. I understand that he did other performances that day. You know, there were probably like, I think he did like 4 showcases, maybe even more, that day. But the thing is, like, it didn't seem like they were unenergetic, or it didn't seem like they were planning this, or it didn't seem like they were tired from that day and that they didn't want to do another performance, because like I said, most of the members of Odd Future seemed kind of confused that Tyler would just go off stage and be like, oh, it's over, it's done. And like, the thing is, of course, because everybody only cares about Tyler, the Odd Future wasn't going to finish the set without him, so everybody else just up and left, and their DJ was kind of like on stage for like a couple minutes because she thought that they were going to come back, but they just didn't. And then it's funny because for the whole thing, every single time Tyler was a jerk, everybody egged him on and just like thought he was awesome and just like, screaming Wolfgang and screaming swag. But the thing is, like, once he did the ultimate jerk thing, which was just end the set early without caring what anybody thinks, nobody was cheering. A lot of people were booing, and a lot of people were mad because a lot of people paid to go see that show. And, I hope Billboard sponsored that show, and Odd Future's on the cover of Billboard this week. So I mean, I wonder if they breached some kind of contractual thing by just ending the show early. I have no clue. So a lot of the stuff that I'm saying, it's only like, I'm only supposing, maybe they planned just going off stage into their set. I have no clue. It just kind of seems like it was really abrupt, and like, if anybody in Odd Future, I mean, there might have been a couple people in Odd Future who knew that, the set was just going to stop early, but it didn't seem like all of them knew that. So yeah, just kind of finished with ham sandwiches. He played Yonkers, and then into another track, it was just kind of over, and a lot of people were dissatisfied by that, but still, Big Crit was good. So yeah, I finished off my South by Southwest experience with what was probably the worst performance there. I'm sorry that you guys have to hear that from me. I know how many people out there were excited to hear, me say, oh, I saw Odd Future, they were awesome. I mean, from what I heard about their other shows, they were really energetic, and when they came out, they were too, but it seems like, Tyler just didn't care. They didn't care enough to, at least entertain the people who were there, who were enjoying it. And I was, to an extent. It was exciting to see them jumping around and kind of, see the madness in person. But like, it doesn't seem all that mad now. It seems kind of contrived if you can just like jump off stage and not give a shit and just like, and whether you say it's like you think you're, you could say you feel like everybody in the front who was enjoying the music is cool. You could say that, but still, it's like saying things and what your actions are two different animals. And like, you may have said you thought we were cool in the front, but you made us feel like dickheads for coming out to the show and just leaving, without any warning whatsoever, and without even really a reason. Because the thing is, it seemed like he was mad at the microphone or the sound guy, and it seemed like he was mad at the people in the back, but he didn't really explain to us that he was going to leave or why he was going to leave. He just left. And that's pretty much a hunk of bullshit to me. So yeah, that was the last 2 days of my South by experience. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like I said, I'm going to be coming out with a compilation video once I get back. Should be Tuesday when that's up, because I'm going to be here in Texas all day Sunday, and Monday afternoon is when I'm actually going to fly in, and I should be like, coming in around like just before midnight. So I had a great time still. It was a great experience, this whole thing, but you guys will see video of that very soon. And I need to shave once I get home. I look disgusting. Alright guys, have a good day, and keep being awesome. Forever.